Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And on today's episode, we are celebrating Kentucky's return to the Sweet 16. We are back where we belong. And overall, it's looking like this whole coaching situation is working out for everybody. Calipari actually got Arkansas to the Sweet 16, believe it or not. BYU got a tournament victory, and most importantly, Kentucky is in the right direction. And a lot of us said at the beginning of the season that we would be satisfied if Kentucky got back to this point. And now I feel like, okay, I didn't know if we would get here due to injuries, but we are here. So how do we get even further? We got a tough matchup coming up against Tennessee. Everybody knows they say it's very difficult to beat a team 3 times in the same season. But I do feel like for some reason we match up and we play well against Tennessee. So if it was a team that I'd like to be in this position against, I'd rather be playing Tennessee right now than Alabama, because for some reason I just feel like I just feel like Alabama has our number. And I think it would be tough to beat Alabama, even though they already beat us twice. I do believe they could do it again. And obviously Florida is really hot. We played Florida earlier in the season. I think Florida's gotten a lot better since we played them. So if there was a SEC team that I want to be in this position against, I guess I would say that I would rather it to be Tennessee. But the key to maintaining Tennessee, or I'm sorry, the key to defeating Tennessee for the third time, in my opinion, is going to be us defending the perimeter. Overall, Kentucky's defense has been, over the last couple of weeks, I think Kentucky's defense may have been ranked 11th in the nation, I believe. I seen something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think, for the rest of the season, however long it lasts, I think the keys to us to keep advancing is going to be how well we play on defense. Against Illinois in the second round, we ended up turning them over 14 times. We limited ours to 5, which is what I like to see. We had 18 assists, and I'd like to see that up above 20, but I'll take 18 and 5 at this point in the season. We held them to 28% from threes. But I think that's going to be the thing with Tennessee, is we're going to have to really lock down on them on the perimeter, which leads me to my next point. I just think that Kentucky is just a different team with Lamont Butler on the court. He just gives them a defensive presence that I think the rest of the team feeds off of his defensive effort. And, we'll see in some of these highlights against Illinois, when Kentucky transitions from defense to offense, they usually can get out in the court, in the open court, and make some good plays. They can knock down some threes in transition, or some guys is capable of going coast to coast and getting to the basket and making some strong finishes. So I think, just moving forward, I believe the key to us surviving and advancing is going to be through our defense. I'm confident that our offense is going to put up anywhere between 75 to 80 points for the rest of the season, but it's all up to what kind of a defensive effort that we put out on the court. And, we got to limit the turnovers as well. And like I said, we kept it to 5 against Illinois. So if we could keep it to, under 10 against Tennessee, that would be great. But anyways, let's look at some of these highlights of us versus Illinois. And I want to focus on defensively more so than offense, because that's just, like I said, I believe that's going to be the key to our success. And, having guys like Lamont Butler on the court is going to be the one that sparks our defensive effort. So let's check out the highlights and see what we think. And I know that Boswell ended up scoring 23 points. He shot a high percentage, but overall, I still believe that our team defensive effort was pretty solid overall. And also, too, shout out to Colin Chandler, man. We've been noticing over the last couple of games, it seemed like Colin just kind of turned into a different player out of nowhere. I don't know if he just finally getting back into shape. And I ain't gonna lie, man. I know I was gonna focus on defense right there, but let me run that back. Um, I love Amari Williams, but Amari has got to finish better in the paint, man. Like Amari has given up, over the last several games, I've just seen him give up probably 6 to 8 points around the basket. And, he just leaving some, plays like this. Like Amari's just got to be more mindful of what he's doing. He's got to, concentrate a little harder on, not just making the right cut to the basket, but you got to be like locked in and finish those plays, because that last play was just too easy of a play. He should have definitely converted that. And some of his offensive efforts, I feel like he just got to take his time a little bit more and get a good shot that he wants, instead of just kind of turning and throwing the ball at the rim. He got to turn around and look and see exactly what he's doing and make sure we get that bucket. But that was a nice pass right there. One thing about Amari, he's going to get them cutters going to the basket. So, he might do some things that make you scratch your head, but he also going to give you some plays like that. Big plays that we need. Kobe Bryant definitely, we got to talk about him a little bit, because he kind of went crazy a little bit. He ended up with 23 points. Shot 3 for 8 from 3, 10 for 16 overall. So Kobe was kind of on fire. Unfortunately, man, Kobe was in one of those positions where I think because of a little bit of his defensive liability, he didn't play a whole lot of games where he played a lot of minutes. If he was a little bit more of a sure defender, it probably been hard for Pope not to play him 30 minutes a game. And I think with his offensive ability, he could have definitely had more games like this where he was scoring 20-plus points. But I think it's just, he's not the surest defender that we got. And right now, like I've been saying, we just got to have guys out there that sorry about that. We got to have guys out there that are just playing solid defense, because that's just going to be the key going forward. We got to limit Tennessee's guards, man, especially Chaz Lanier. Lamont Butler is going to have to try to contain him, which I do think that he can. That was good D right there. Chandler actually played he had a couple of possessions where he played some super good, like, on-ball defense. He kind of, guys was trying to post him up, and I think they realized he's a little bit stronger than they thought. He held his ground pretty good. So, shouts to Chandler for playing tough defense, making guys work. Like I said, we know. And see, those are more possessions where it's like, I feel like we just got to get better possessions. Amari just got to take his time a little bit more. Like, I don't mind Amari trying to score, but that was a strong play right there from Butler. Let me rewind that a little bit. That was one of those plays that, like, when I, was profiling Butler at the beginning of the season, like, those are the plays that I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to be giving us those type of drives to the basket at Kentucky where he just uses his strength. He had his angles down perfectly and got himself an easy layup. And that's just what I like from Butler. Butler getting to the basket, because he's just going to get guys better looks that way. And we need all the good looks we can get. Like when we got, Barea coming around screens like that, because they're watching people that can get to the basket, and he can get good looks like that. Like, that's way too good of a look for Barea. And he can have himself another ball game, because we're going to need that. We still going to have to score, even though the focus for me is going to be on defense. We still gonna have to put up some numbers. Um, you got to rebound. We just gotta play tough. Uh, guys like Garrison, even though his minutes might be going down a little, he still got to bring that toughness that he always brings off the bench. I'd like to see if Almanor can get in a little bit, get a few more minutes here and there, just because Almanor is just one of our better shooters. So I'm confident when he's in the corner that he's gonna hit his open jumpers. Like I said, man, shouts out to Chandler, because Chandler is starting to grow up right in front of our eyes, if you will. Seemed like he was monstered in the beginning of the season, probably because he just hadn't played this level of basketball in a couple years when he was on his mission trip. But it seemed like it's coming back to him now. And right there, man, that was a play where I ain't gonna put that on Amari, because I feel like when somebody's looking to pass you the ball and you backdoor, if you commit like you're going to the basket, you just gotta you can't stop in the middle of the cut. See right here, like once you like break towards the basket, you gotta go. You gotta go all the way through. Or you at least gotta wait and see for a fact that he's not gonna hit you with the pass. But you can't stop the cut that quickly, because you have situations like that where Amari is looking for you to roll to the basket and he got the pass through, but you stopped. And maybe if you would have kept on going, we wouldn't have got such a silly turnover. So we got to make sure that we are making smart plays, and we playing solid defense. Got to close out on the three, man. In today's game, you just got to be able to guard the perimeter, because a lot of guys are shooting threes. See, like right there, I feel like Kobe's gotta slide a little bit better on defense, because a lot of the times we giving up too easy of points when guys don't really get no resistance going to the basket. Like, we gotta at least make them hesitate, make them do a cutback. Give the rest of the defense time to recover. Because a lot of times, if dude's making one move and getting all the way towards the rim, the help defense ain't really gonna have too much of a time to recover. So we just gotta make sure. See, like, if you watch Butler's man don't hardly ever go around him in one play. It might happen occasionally, but the majority of the time, if Butler's in front of you, you're gonna have to at least cut back once or twice. On this level, it's just almost impossible for somebody to just go straight around him. And, when he's on the ball, and like we'll see at some point, he made one of the key plays down the stretch to just kind of seal the game for us, because he's just got so much awareness on defense. But not usually one man ain't going to just go straight around Butler without having to make a cutback. And that's what hopefully he's going to be able to do to Lanier, because Lanier is going to probably try to light Kentucky up for 20. But hopefully Butler can make it at least make him work a little bit for it. He might still reach his 20, but hopefully it'll be an inefficient 20 if he does get there. And slow Tennessee's pace down, slow the game down for them. But yeah, overall, man, I'm happy. I'm pleased with this season. I'm gonna give Mark Pope a strong A so far this season, just because I know he didn't have much time, and there's Almanar knocking it down in the corner. I know he didn't have much time. He threw this team together and did the best that he can, and he got him to the Sweet 16. So as far as I'm concerned, man, I'm giving him a solid A so far, with the chance to potentially get it to an A+. If he gets to the Elite Eight, man, if we beat Tennessee and move to the Elite Eight, I'm gonna have to give him a A+. Just because with the limited amount of time he had to construct this team, being in the SEC conference, as crazy as it was, pretty much every game was a tough game. You know, there might have been 2, maybe 3 bad teams in the SEC. Everybody else was solid. And then we had a couple of teams that was top tier. So I got to give him a solid A, man. But anyways, we'll wrap it up right there. Good win for Kentucky against Illinois. Feels great to be back in the Sweet 16. But you guys let me know what you think about Mark Pope and this team's overall performance this season, and how far do you think we're going to go? And also let me know what you think the keys to victory against Tennessee will be. And we'll get back at it next time. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson.